Starscream? What did Shockwave say to do?
To not let none escape.
And what did you do?
I let... Oh, now I see why you're angry.
Hey guys, this is Damon from Vintage X Collectibles, and welcome to my review of the Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Trilogy Voyager class of Megatron. Now I believe this will be one of the absolute best representations of a classic G1 Megatron that we have got. Taking a look at his head sculpt, his eyes are painted red, but there is no light piping. Too bad, that could have really worked out well. And then his neck is on some kind of weird plate that just kind of raises up and goes down without locking in place, and it really serves no purpose. That's kind of weird. But still, nonetheless, a very good looking head sculpt. As for his torso, it's what you would expect of a G1 style Megatron. He's proudly sporting the purple Decepticon logo front and center, and I love how that chrome from his backpack comes through in his frontal view. That's really good looking. Now at first I was kind of turned off by this battle damage scuff marks, but I actually think it works. Plus it's something new to an old look. We have a weapon port hole on his shoulder and forearm, and looking at his forearm, it is just hollowed out. Look at that. Oh well, I guess they all can't be perfect, right? Let's check out his backpack. It does float away nicely and out of sight. It's pretty thick, but there's no excess kibble visible from any angle. Everything is pretty symmetrical back there. He does have those scuff marks all throughout his legs. He is pretty agile. He can do a high kick. He does have some very sturdy feet. And the weapon port holes at the side of his calf is really more for tank mode. Megatron does come with waist rotation for enhanced posability. Now I am really happy with the job they did on his cannon. Check this out, a lot of molded detail in there. And all down the side looks pretty good from one end to the other. And I'm not a very big fan of his sword. As you can tell, that is just his tank cannon in there with a little scope piece on top. The cannon part does look good, but I don't know about the sword. So let's check out his weapon storage and how that looks. Yeah, that sword is pretty big. Okay, so I guess it goes on okay. I mean, you know, it actually looks a lot better than I thought it would. I thought they would just be all hanging out and just tacky looking from the front, but hey, they hide away quite nicely. Here is Megatron ready for War for Cybertron. And here he is with this blaster effect. And here he is with this blaster effect. Which one looks better? I'm undecided. And if you look closely and zoom in, you can see that hollowed out forearm there. Yep, looks like he just got shot straight through the arm. But, I guess it's not a big deal. It's really my only nitpick with this figure. I think everything else about him just looks great. As for comparisons, here is how Megatron looks along with another Cybertronian style of himself from the Transformers Prime TV series. And this is actually one of my favorite looks of Megatron. I feel like they were trying to go for a bit of the look of a lion. And this one does come with light piping. There's that dark energon flowing through his body. Here is Megatron with Starscream from the actual Cybertron video games. Now this is a deluxe class of him, so it's a bit on the small side, but I actually prefer this style over the new Wave 2 Voyager that is about to come out of him. Also, if I stay with this Starscream, then I can group him together with some other Seekers of the same scale size of Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Acid Rain. And now for what's really important, here is how Megatron and Optimus Prime scale and look together from the new Transformers Siege toy line. And I will be displaying these two out on my computer desk for a while. They look great. And here's Megatron with Shockwave, also from the Siege line. And I think they scale perfectly together without all that extra crap attached to them. And here is Shockwave with his really sweet hoverboard. And how he looks with all of his power-up upgrades that are supposed to make him a leader class. Whatever. And now, time for transformation. And here we have Megatron in his Cybertronian killer tank mode, and he looks pretty damn awesome. He rolls pretty well. He does have these little wheels under here. And a couple things about transformation. When you're accordion in the front treads, make sure that they come in pretty close, like maybe about a finger space. And if not, then they'll be loose and they won't be fully locked in, and they'll just kind of wobble around. Another thing, when excuse me, I just drank a cup of soda. When you bring back his arms, make sure that it is straight at his shoulder and forearm. That way, when you bring it back, everything lines up correctly. Now, something really cool, this Megatron can rotate in both robot form and in his alt mode, tank form. He can rotate at his turret. Pretty sweet, huh? The new figures are being made smaller, but we are making some improvements to the overall design and articulation. And I do have the leader class of Megatron from the Combiner Wars, which is very similar to this Megatron in both robot and tank mode. I just didn't bother digging it out because, well, its leader class is gonna, dwarf this one. But just by owning these two, I can tell you that, the bigger one, the Combiner Wars, it does look nice. It's all chromed out, it's shiny all over. But it is not nearly as articulated as this one. In both forms, both robot form, he's kind of stiff, and even in tank form, the leader class of Combiner Wars, if I remember correctly, it doesn't even have a rotating turret. I'm pretty sure it's just fixed like that. So this one does have a lot to love about it. And we've already checked out the blaster effects with the turret. I showed you that in the transformation. So let's see what we can do with these weapon portholes on the sides of his treads. And these are just the little Gatling guns from my deluxe of the Starscream.
And that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like these. These do rotate. It's kind of stiff, but it rotates. You can see in there you have little gears. Pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Starscream, I'm gonna borrow these. As for comparisons, here is Megatron as a Cybertronian tank and a Cybertronian jet. Two different color schemes, but both look great. I've heard people say they didn't care for the look of the Transformers Prime Megatron, but he's actually one of my favorite looks of him. And I also loved how the TV series portrayed him as a real badass. In jet mode, he also has this gimmick with a red laser dot sight in his cannon, which is pretty neat. And here's Megatron with his old punching bag, Starscream. Both in their Cybertronian mode, and both look great together. I really like this Starscream design. I think I'm going to have to pass on the upcoming Siege one. I mean, you can't have them all. And like I said, I already have a group of Seekers that are all on scale with each other. And here we have both Megatron and Optimus Prime from the new Siege toy line. And check out how much larger Megatron looks in their alt mode. Of course, most of that is because of Megatron's extra large and hollow arms and legs, but that's alright. And here is Megatron with a Shockwave in his upside down gun Cybertronian submarine mode. They scale pretty good like this. And here is Shockwave with his weapon upgrade system. And this is the only mode where he actually looks like a leader class size. Well, that wraps up my video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. And remember, in times of turmoil, ask yourself, what would Professor Charles Xavier do?